Theater, one of the oldest art forms in the world. The stage is our sandbox, a space where anything can happen. But have you ever wondered how we actually make it all happen? Most people think theater is all about the acting, but it's so much more than that. Come on, come closer, let me tell you. Have you ever thought about how the sets are built? How costumes and props help bring characters to life? It's not just about the words, it's about how we move, how we interact with the space, with the audience, with each other. All of it is a result of a beautiful team effort. My name is Matthew Whitelaw, and through this show, I'd like to give you a chance to take a peek behind the curtain. Hi, thanks for having me. I brought some script suggestions for you today. So first I got this one set during the Roman Empire. Okay, so I got this other one set during the 1998 ice storm. Okay, I got one more. Just hear me out, okay? Oh. They say the play chooses you. Or maybe it's a secret council of theater wizards hiding in a back room arguing about Shakespeare. Either way, how do you pick the right show? Luckily, I tracked someone down from the actual play selection committee. No robes, no crystal ball, and she's going to explain to us how it really works. So to start off, thank you for having us in your home today.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about the play selection committee with you because you are the chairperson of said committee now. And I want you to tell me a little bit about what the play selection committee is and what does it do?
Okay, well, the play selection committee is a group of experienced people. Usually it's people who have directed before or people who are members of the executive who are following the development of the plays that are being chosen and the plays that have been read and looking at the enthusiasm behind them. And the planning usually is like we try and do it about a year or at least a season ahead so that we have people in place who are interested in going to the auditions and have read the play, are interested in the story, interested in the different characters, and could see themselves as a character, see themselves helping out in costumes, makeup, staging, decor, etc.
So, like you said, you have to have directed one of the previous plays to be able to be on the committee. Is that it?
No, not necessarily. It used to be like that, but what we wanted to get away from was that we'd have people who had directed, who liked to play, who were not necessarily going to be involved in the current production. We want to eventually get into a situation where we have a wider group of people who are being solicited for their opinion. So it'll be going out to membership to say, well, we have selected a play, this is the play, take a look at the play, and we think you're going to like it, and become involved. Because for a lot of people who are new to theater, they think that the only thing that is involved in being in the theater is learning your lines and being on the stage. Mm-hmm. But there's so many other parts to a production that it's important for people to feel that they have a part in it. doesn't matter whether they're on stage or backstage or whatever they're doing, that their involvement is there and that their opinion counts too.
Which is great because this is kind of the point of the show.
That's right.
And how do you pick out which plays are worth reading to begin with? Because we have a lot of readings.
Well, first of all, readings are also a way of keeping contact with members. So over the summer, there are readings, and they start at the end of June. And usually, we don't always have the same people all through the summer. Our average is 20, 24 people who are interested in hearing the play, getting together, and so it's also a social thing. Mm-hmm. People who have read a play, who are interested in putting on a play, who have decided that, well, if everyone likes what I picked idea, that they will then say, okay, I'll direct it because I have support and I can see where I'll be able to cast the play, casting meaning that there are people who are going to come to an audition because they like a role and they really are invested in it and want to be able to do that. And that whole idea of being invested in a role means such a difference for the person, for the actor, and also for the director and for the other actors. Because when people are on stage or they're in a rehearsal and they can really get into being their person, it makes such a difference for the people that are around them as well.
So readings are important.
Readings are incredibly important because it's kind of like when someone recommends a book and they really enjoyed a certain style. But if you're not somebody who really likes, say, for example, detective novels, all right, then you're not going to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. If you're someone who likes biography or science and someone's recommending fiction, that's your taste. You're not going to like it. So it's good to have a reading because it gives the pulse. Sometimes things are funny because it's the same type of humor that's shared in the room. Or sometimes the person who's suggesting it likes a specific kind of humor and it falls not flat, but it's just a chuckle or a murmur and not a belly laugh.
Okay.
And also the age of the play. I mean, we see redos of Shakespeare, and your audience is going to get put to sleep by that. Doesn't matter how wonderful that play is. If that's not your audience, then okay, we really love the play. The play is a 10 out of 10, but it's a 4 out of 10 for our audience. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing that has to comes into it. We have read plays that where people have enjoyed them as critics of theater, but they were not suitable for our audience and for our members because we draw our people from our membership. But it is really when the reading is when there's a critique. It's not just, we had fun, we read a play, da-da-da. The idea behind the reading of the play is to say, well, we've read this, and how suitable is it? How difficult would it be to put on? What's required? For example, if we go to, say, a professional theater, and they have a rotating stage, and they have rotating stage. I've seen plays where they rotate like it's a quarter, and a quarter, because things are changing, all right? We don't do that, so if that was a prerequisite for a certain type of play, then we would probably read it for the fun of, because maybe it's good, very good writing, but it would not be something we'd consider because it's not realistic for us to take on.
Which kind of goes back to the reason why we have readings is to get people together, right?
To get people together, to feel them out, see who would be interested, and also, you know, what's happening in someone's life, you know?
Of course.
Someone might say, oh, I would really love to direct that, but, you know, my daughter's getting married, and I'd do that in the fall, not in the spring. So, okay, well, let's look at what we can have in the spring, and if you're that keen about it in the fall, and you've already got people who are ready to jump on your project, we're behind you and we'll support you.
So I guess it's also good for the committee to actually get a sense of who likes what as well, right?
Exactly. Okay. See who likes what's available as far as talent to cast something, and also to find out how we're going to do it. The other thing that's important is once we've had all the readings, is also to see of how many people really liked it. And what will happen often is halfway through the reading is that we'll say, so who else would like to read such and such a part? And everyone wanted to read. Mm-hmm. So you can see there's like enthusiasm there for the project.
And do you ever have to, like, how often does it happen to have to turn down a play that is submitted? Like amongst
it happens, sure, it happens, because it could be that we just can't cast it because we need people who are not available. If we need someone who's in their 30s and the members in their 30s are on trips, or they've got other things happening in their life and they're not available, then we have to say, well, I'm very sorry, but you know, keep it in. It's not that it's not a bad project, it's not a bad idea. A lot of things in life are timing, and sometimes it's timing. Sometimes, I've been on the committee a couple of years, and I know that there was something in the past. There was something that was submitted, and it just wasn't appropriate for our group. It was maybe dated. Some of the references were, you know, I would understand them because of my age, but maybe someone who was 40 or 50 wouldn't. So it was a fun read, but it was not one that was on the list for consideration for production. Okay. It was just a fun read.
I'm assuming you, as a committee, you also want to try and encourage readings or plays that are selected that will kind of adhere to most people, right? So that you know.
We have not. Our particular group is a community theater. Mm-hmm. So our primary objective and mission is to provide theater, or the theater experience, to members and the public in an atmosphere that is welcoming, non-threatening. And I don't want to say that not to make you think too much, but that it should be entertaining. Our role is not so much to do theater that is perhaps more super contemporary or political, or you know, on the socially edgy or something like that, because that's really not our groove, you know. And there's plenty of amazing, fun, interesting plays that we can do without being, say, offensive to some people, to be just something that people can enjoy. There can be a little bit of a social, you know, a message, but we're not looking to have something incredibly
nothing too extreme, basically.
Nothing too extreme,
yeah, okay.
Right?
Because I mean, it's important to know your audience, right?
Yes, it is.
I mean, I'm assuming there's not an issue with taking risks sometimes with certain plays.
Absolutely, and we have done that in the past. We've done different types of plays that were, you know, that made people raise eyebrows. But we also have found through our comments that we get back after the plays how much people enjoy a certain type of play. And not just that it would always be like comedy or whatever, but that it could be something that they could enjoy and is entertaining as much for the audience as it is for our members and their participation. So I think that's one of the things a lot of people forget, that the play selection committee has to select something that brings people together on the project.
And how often would you say the committee tend to meet together?
Usually about maybe 4 or 5 times a year to discuss what's going to come on the list for reading, who's going to do what as far as making the list, making a list of, asking people who would like to host the readings, and reading the plays to make sure that what's been submitted are things that are possible for our group.
Wonderful, thank you. Now, reading a play might not sound as thrilling as performing one, but trust me, there's something kind of magical about cracking open a script and letting the story unfold. It's like a show in your head, but with fewer costume changes. So I joined a play reading to see what all the fuss is about and asked a few people what they think about the value of just sitting down and reading a play together. Here's how it went.
Yes, one, I think.
I think I'll get to the fish skin.
Alas, it's hardly ever gets to the face skin.
Oh, let's see. We start with the fingernail, eh?
Right. Best to start with the fingernails.
Run something very sharp under the edges.
Ty? Ty?
Sadie goes to her room and huff slams the door, then packs up a giant airball or something. You get the idea. Sadie freaks out, maybe puts her head between the couch cushions, maybe.
Yes, and you can tell me your name, but I know it already, so that would be superfluous. Superfluous? One word. But you can, and then we can shake hands, because wouldn't that be super fun? So, here's my handshake. Hello to be people who know each other.
He offers his hand to shake hello.
Boyfriend?
Oopsies!
Why didn't you tell me?
He's the character that's there. His reason to be there is to be the comical relief. We're just the
Yeah,
relief
but also
because
the
there's-
catalyst between
Yes,
between them.
because there's so much. Because this girl has so much in her life going on. She has someone to rely on. That's
when you read plays, you get an opportunity to hear it, and the next thing is you can imagine it on the stage. So I think that's the fun part, is you have to have the people in the characters to really appreciate the writing.
I think the group readings give you a chance to gauge whether the play has legs or not. Most people are reading the play cold for the first time, so sometimes the reading itself is not the best performance that you can get out of the play. But it still lets you hear it. And I know sometimes I read a play and I'll go, I think it's okay. Then you hear somebody read it and you go, no, it's really not that good. Or you go the other way, wow, I read it, I thought it was kind of meh. And then I hear somebody reading it and I go, wow, that's a really good piece. And so it makes you see it from a different perspective. Tonight's play was very much like that. I went into the reading thinking I'm not sure I'm going to like this, and I ended up liking it a great deal.
I think it's very important because you get a sense of the play and of the characters and how you should present the characters in the play. And I especially love this play because we have a chance to talk about all these different subjects and topics and the nuances of the different characters in the play. and thought it was really, really well written and very interesting.
Well, I think it's important for our group. The social aspects of just meeting together and not putting on a play, but reading a play. Sometimes we get performances like we did tonight. People who were really taking on the characters, others that didn't quite make it. But the play itself, I found, surprisingly, I read about the subject, read the summary, and didn't realize that the play could be such a profound play, and I found it very interesting, very moving as well at times. It was good. Thank you very much for those who took part.
I think it's nice reading plays because, it just gets you to experience maybe some new genres. It's like a book, when sometimes you might just think, oh, I don't really like it. But then when you actually read it with a couple people and people get into character, it makes it come to life.
Auditions can be exciting, stressful, and a little awkward, but they're where every great show begins. I'm currently outside the rehearsal space to talk with the director and some of the actors about what the audition process is really like, what works, what doesn't, and how it feels to put yourself out there. So how do you usually prepare for an audition?
Read the hell out of it, and I really attempt to understand the character with what little I have and decide how I'm going to play it. When I go to an audition, I find in many cases that in amateur theater, people just come and read it as if they're reading it for the first time. But this isn't a reading competition, and it is a competition. You're trying to get a part. So whatever you can use to prepare for that audition, you should do it, and do it before you walk in through the door.
If the script is available, I'll try to read through it, try to understand the character as much as I can. I really want to try to just be that character as much as I can during the audition, and I try to do it in a couple of ways. Very often you'll get to do the same scene a few times, so I try to interpret it in slightly different ways every single time to give something for the producer or the play director to look at and to consider as different ways of doing that scene.
What do you look for in a play to get you interested in auditioning to begin with?
In some cases, I will have already read the play because generally it's a play that amateur groups like to put on something that the audience is already aware of. So my knowledge of the play has an influence. If I like it, what kind of a play it is it a comedy, is it a heavy drama? I have preferences as an actor as to what I'd like to do, so that generally sort of biases me in a way toward whether I'm going to audition or not.
Either I like seeing myself in a character and I'm like, okay, this character is someone I really could see myself, acting for, or a good challenge, something that's completely outside my ballpark and something that's a challenge for me and it's going to be fun to try something new and just to try to roll with it. So, extremes.
And which one is this one? A challenge?
This one's definitely a challenge. It's a big role, and it's an Irish character. I don't necessarily have a great Irish accent, so it's something I need to work on. It's someone from a farm, a little bit, I'd say, he's in his head a lot. He's a dreamer, and that's not like me at all, so I'm trying to, let's say, expand my horizon a little bit in this one.
You've auditioned in the past and didn't get a role. How do you not get discouraged and, just keep yourself going, and excited for the next one?
Oh, you just got to see the play as something that's fun, and it's just the director has to fit. I mean, if you're not a good match for the director and it doesn't fit, it's not going to be an enjoyable opportunity for anyone involved. So you just got to, roll with it. It's part of life. You don't get everything you want. No one gets the way the things that they want all the time. So, you just try to participate in some other way. So, for example, in that play, I ended up doing a lot more work in preparing the stage. So, moving a lot of stuff, and I'd say a week before setting up the stage, I tried to help out as much as I could.
Well, to be honest, I get ticked off. But sometimes I've been not given a part when I know that I didn't do well at the audition. And you just have to, I'll have to do better next time. You got to, and as soon as, whatever feelings you have about the audition, it's just an audition. You got to put it away, whether you've gotten the role or whether you haven't. Move on to the next thing.
What would you recommend someone interested in auditioning who's never auditioned before?
Just have fun. Just relax. Try not to be too nervous. Read a little bit and just go with it. Why not try it out? I mean, the worst that's going to happen is you get a no, but that's not too bad. I mean, everyone gets told no once in a while, so just have fun.
It's not a reading competition. It's an acting competition. So try any way you can get anything you can do to get any part of the play that makes you familiar with what they're looking for will help you and prepare in advance. And the other thing you should do is if, for example, you're the third person to read for the part, and the two groups I'm with, generally all of the actors that are auditioning for a part are doing it in the same room at the same time. See what you learn. If anyone reads before you, listen and see if there's anything you can pick up that you would like to incorporate in how you audition for the part. Anything you can do to learn more about what the group is looking for in that character will be good for you.
What do you look for when you're watching people audition for roles?
Well, you want to see, of course, if they understand the character that they're auditioning for. Whether they're capable of delivering lines the way you want them to, and if they have an understanding actually just for the role. Essentially, it's just that, really.
And do you have a certain vision of how you want a character to be portrayed when someone's auditioning, or do you kind of let them do their own thing?
Well, you have an idea of how they want the whole play to go, actually. So you must have an idea of how each individual character will eventually perform. But one thing you can't expect them to do is do something that doesn't come naturally from them. So whatever you get in the end has to be, hopefully, is part of your vision, and it has to come naturally from the actors, and they have to look natural, because if they're uncomfortable on stage, the audience is going to see that and it won't look good.
And who has usually the final say? So let's say you have you, the director, and a producer or an assistant, depending on the play. Who will have the final say on who? Let's say there's multiple people running for the same role.
Well, there are a few things that will determine that. Of course, we're not a professional troupe, so it's not like a producer's going to bring me Gary Oldman and say he's going to take the lead role. So it'd be great if I could get Gary Oldman to perform. I wouldn't have to do any directing, I don't think. But anyway, no, more often than not, the weight goes on the director, especially if it's a small play. But there is a with Théâtre Saint-Bruno, there has been in the past, at least anyway, there has been like a precedent set that if we get a new actor, we give them a decent sized role if that's what they're looking for, and hopefully we can cast them in one of the leading roles, or at least a good support role.
Well, that goes a little bit into my next question. Does someone need to have a lot of experience to audition, or are you kind of open to taking new people as well?
Oh, very open to taking new people. In fact, the two main characters in this next production, Outside Mullingar, they're both novices, they're both rookies.
And what would be your advice for someone who would be interested in auditioning who never has before?
Just come and watch a couple of performances. Just come to, if you know someone within the troupe, come to a rehearsal. We are community theatre, so there's quite a bit of social activity around the rehearsals and the performances. So just come and see what you think. If somebody has aspirations to move on, and we have had people that have moved on into professional acting, then that would be your next step. But start off in community theatre and come and watch what we do, and if you like it, join.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yes, I already sent you the rehearsal schedule. And why is the budget spreadsheet all in red? No, we can't put a real fire on stage. Who approved this? Tell them we need a fog machine and 3 backup fog machines. No, I'm not joking. Okay, we have props, we have costumes, snacks for the cast. Do we have snacks for the cast? Ah! Okay, I know what this looks like. Yes, producing can be chaotic, but don't get me wrong, when the right person's in charge, it doesn't have to be a total meltdown. With good organization and a clear plan, keeping a production on track is actually totally manageable. So let's go and talk to someone who knows how to do just that. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for being here with us today.
No problem.
Can you share a bit about your background and what initially drew you to theater production?
I was a high school teacher. I was in one play in high school. I had one line. And the only reason I got involved was that somebody asked me if I could help them out by producing a play, because they had nobody else to produce this play.
Can you tell me a bit about what the role of producer is? Like when you get a script from the director, or you say, yes, I'm producing, now, like what are the steps? Like what happens?
You have to find people to be in charge of each of the sections of producing a play. A couple of people have described producer as a project manager. You find people to do the tasks, you tell them what they have to do, and ideally then you don't have anything else to do, but that's not the way it works, because you have to make sure that they're doing the things that need to be done. You're there if they have problems or if they need help. And I say you have to keep your finger in every pie. You don't mess it up, but you have to keep your finger in every pie so you know what's going on and what needs to be, where people need help.
Because the whole point is you to help all these different roles that you helped fill in.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that as the producer, theoretically, I know what each one of them involves, and then I can say, okay, you need to do this. If we talk to this person, then they can probably help you out with that.
A jack of all trades, basically.
Yes, yes. Other than designing and building the sets, I think I've done just about everything else you need to do to be in a play.
Well, there we go. There we go. Almost actually, because you've been on stage and off stage.
That's right. Yes, yes.
And of all the shows that you've produced, are there any that stand out as particularly meaningful to you?
I have to say Glorious.
Yeah?
And only that, I really liked the play anyway. And then when I ended up being in it because of the actress who withdrew because she was ill, it was like, I was really nervous, but I really, really enjoyed it. But it was a lot of work to get everything ready to go on stage, and I did enjoy it.
Not just because you were in it.
No, but it was a really good play to produce. There were a lot of people who were really involved in the various sections of what needed to be done. And I was helping with the costume people because I do sew. And there aren't that many people in the group who actually do sew. So doing some of the costumes, and then, it's nice to be able to help.
Of course. What are some of the responsibilities that people often overlook when it comes to the role of producer?
You need to make sure that people who are doing the various tasks, who are in charge of each various thing, need to know what is expected of them. And if you're a first-time producer, you don't always know that. So it's always nice if there are people working on costumes who know where the costumes are and what there is in our collection of costumes, and then where are good places to go and buy things if we need to buy things.
And in your view, what qualities separate a good producer from an excellent producer?
Oh, I have absolutely no idea. People might think that I have trouble letting go of things, because I do like to know what's going on. But I've had a lot of very good people working with me in the various things that need to be done. And so I feel like I know what I'm doing, and sometimes I have to make an effort to step back and say, no, they're doing that. But I don't know what the difference would be between a good and an excellent.
Well, clearly people keep asking you to come back, so, And producing can be a high-stress role, especially as you get closer to opening night, I'm guessing.
Yes.
How do you personally handle the pressure, and how has your approach changed over time?
It depends what is going on that might become stressful. We've had I've had 3 plays where things have changed once I got started producing, like the one where the actress became ill. The one where 2 people who had volunteered to work in one of the sections couldn't do it. So then the assistant producer and I did that in addition to producing. And so Everybody gets a little bit more stressed as it's getting there. Are the costumes going to fit? Are people going to remember their lines? Do we need a prompter? You know, things like that. And so you have to work very closely with the director and the actors just to see what will make it easier for them.
How do you navigate creative disagreements with other key members of the team? Because it could happen, right?
It depends who it is and what we're disagreeing about. Because a lot of the people that I've worked with have had a lot of experience, and so we'll go with what you know, we'll do it your way. But if it's something that I know more about, then it could get really interesting. But the people that you might have disagreements with might be the director, who has a certain vision of what he or she wants the play to look like, and so you generally have to go with that.
Yeah, because you all basically go the same end goal, right?
Exactly, yes. And so then you figure out a way to work around or to make that goal reachable.
And when something starts to go off the rails during a production, again, like a mishap, what's your approach to damage control?
Seeing who can help get it back online, see who can help me get it back online, seeing who there is that I can go to as a resource to help get things working properly again.
Because communication is the key.
Oh,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. Communication is so important, and sometimes it's easier to communicate with some people than others.
Of course.
And that can be challenging, but then you can always find a workaround, somebody else who can help straighten things out too.
It's a team project, right?
Exactly, yes.
And you mentioned it a little bit before, but I'm going to ask you the question anyways.
Okay.
Have you ever had to step in and go above and beyond to help prevent a production from failing, which
yes.
you mentioned before?
Yes, I did.
With Glorious.
Yes. 3 weeks to opening night, I stepped into basically the lead role. And I had been going to most of the rehearsals, so it wasn't as difficult as it could have been. Mm-hmm. But it was a very interesting play, and I really did enjoy it. But the other people who were looking after things stepped up and said, you're not the producer anymore, you're doing this, we're going to do all of that. And so that was, it's very hard to let go, when you've got all of these things and you know the way they're working, and you're hoping that other people know exactly what's happening.
So you did your job as producer, because you assembled a great support group for you. So
yes, yeah, I did, and it was a very good. I liked the group dynamics as it was being, practiced and before it went on stage.
You did great.
Oh, thank you.
Being a producer can mean having to deal with some chaos, as mentioned before. Has there ever been a moment where you thought, "Why am I doing this?" and what made you continue?
Truthfully, those moments come up fairly often. As something goes wrong or something, there's something that comes up that you haven't thought about, and you just keep going, because I've made the commitment to be the producer, and I'll talk to people who possibly can help me or give me some ideas or step in and do something else, So, yeah.
You must like it, because you keep coming back.
I do. Yes, I do, and.
Is it a challenge?
It is a real challenge, yes, because. Sometimes it's difficult to find people who can help out in some of the roles, like props or costumes or things like that. And it's challenging most times, but if you get the right people with you, then it works out very well.
And I'm guessing it also allows you to put your skills to the test of various things, right?
Yes, I try not to use my teacher voice.
That's a good voice to have, though.
Oh yes, at certain points, yes, but I try not to use it in group settings with the people I'm working with.
And for someone thinking about becoming a producer, what's a piece of advice you wish someone had given you early on?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Do not be afraid. See who can help you. See who knows what it is that needs to be done in this particular area, because you don't know, nobody really knows it all, and there are always resource people or people who have done it before, or people who know the way it should work. And just don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's great advice.
Thank you.
Spoken like a true teacher. So that ends our interview. So thank you very much for being here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So from picking the perfect script to getting through auditions and wrangling all that behind-the-scenes madness, it turns out there's a lot that happens before the curtain even rises. But with the right people, a little planning, and maybe just a little bit of caffeine, theater magic starts to come together. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go learn my lines for the next episode. Oh, And by the way, no producers were harmed during the making of this episode. Well, not permanently.